fantastic. This is GT racing right now.
He's got traction, he's got everything outside of both of them! Maloney!
Oh, he's taken Anderson! Anderson's up to
Oh my God! Big crash! Oh my goodness, half the field's gonna get rolled!
Second very close. These guys are want to make their way through the field very quickly.
Oh, there we go!
Oh no! That's massive! This is it! This is over! I can't believe this! Oh my God!
God, what?
It is time for a new era of racing here in Australia and New Zealand. Touring car racing is back on Simspeed TV with the Australian Turbo Touring Car Series live and in full on Simspeed TV, presented by RMS Race Management Service and Simfinity. My name is Jay Kennedy. Alongside me in the booth for the entirety of this series, Cameron Dance. And Cam, we have firstly a stacked field, secondly a stacked grid, thirdly some awesome racing coming up for this series. I'm very, very impressed, number one, with the turnout, number two, with how good the drivers are throughout this field.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a very, very stacked field. I mean, you've got quite a few drivers who are well and truly capable of putting on some really, really good racing. So it'll be interesting to see what sort of racing we're going to get and who's going to come out on top, because you can't really predict who's going to be the winner in this one.
100%. It's going to be very, very tight. The drivers are just finishing their final practice laps at the moment. But while I get ready to go through and do a 2-lap shootout qualifying session, we'll quickly go through the rules for this series. Very, very straightforward. 2 races in the night with 2 qualifying sessions, and the first race of 10 minutes timed race, so it'll be nice and short and sweet. Around about 6 laps around this circuit at Silverstone, and then race 2 will be probably 10 laps because we have a 20-minute race, but a compulsory pit stop for 2 tyres. It doesn't matter which 2 tyres you take, but 2 tyres is the only rule. So that's going to make it very, very interesting in these Audi TCR cars.
Yeah, absolutely. And different tracks. It's going to probably be different as well, because some tracks you may be going to want fronts, some you're going to want sides, some you're going to want rears. It's really going to be interesting to see what sort of combos and what sort of strategies different drivers have, and what we might end up seeing in the end, and which ones end up prevailing the most.
The other thing too, these tyres, with this car having the new tyre model, do take a little while to come up to temp. So making sure that you have the right tyres on your car come the end of the race, pit at the right time, and ensure you've got enough time to get heat into the tyres so you don't lose out too bad. As you can see on screen, Scotty McQueen really working the tyres to get heat into them straight away. Very, very important. You don't want to leave it too late and find you've got no pace at the end of the race and someone closing in very, very quickly behind you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those things now about that V7 tire model, is that gone are the days where you do really, really slow out laps, or you just went hell for leather straight out of the gate. You've really, really got to put effort into that warm-up lap and actually use it the way it should be done, which is warming up the tires, warming up the brakes, all that sort of stuff, to get some nice good temps so that you can pretty much just get to that start of that first lap and the second lap and have some nice good tires.
Need to thank everyone behind the scenes for their hard work in getting this series up and going. Ira has worked day and night to get this series up and running, so big congratulations to Ira for his hard work, who is on screen now in his 111 eSports car. I must say that car is one of my favourites. Does look very, very cool. But to Ira Feldberg, well done to him. Also to Ryan Colstate in the background, who you will hear coming throughout the race from race control. So we will have live race control coming out via audio in tonight's broadcast, so that should be good to watch as we go and watch this first flying lap for Ira and see what he can do. Looking at times around about the 1 minute 58 onto 2 minute lap time, so we'll see what sort of times we get.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see who ends up doing what. Obviously, your drivers doing mid 58s and a little bit slower in practice, so it'll be interesting to see what qualifying might produce. I do wonder if it'll be a bit slower than what practice was. Obviously, practice you've got a few more laps under your belt to get some heat into the tyres, whereas qualifying's a little bit shorter, obviously only at 2 laps. But It'll be interesting to see what sort of times we get and how close this field can actually end up being.
And with that too, as we said at the start, 10-minute race, and those tyres as well is going to be a huge thing with that too. So only having a 10-minute race to get your tyres up to 10, which is a 10-minute qualifying session, we're almost halfway through already, and then also being able to defend with those tyres, making sure you haven't overheated them and underperformed them and make sure that they're up to temperature too late. It's going to be a real fine line for some of these drivers that may not have thought that far ahead, may have just worked on a setup that works for them and works up with the race, but tyre management is going to be so crucial in qualifying and both races tonight.
Yeah, 100%. It's one of those things that while it's a TCR car and the tires aren't exactly super softs like you find on a F1 car or really, really quick at degrading like in a V8 supercar, it's one of those it's one of those tires where you've actually got to look after the tire because it is also front wheel drive. So you're having the front tires get worked out 2 times more than what they normally would because they've got to put the drive through them, and then also you've got to get around the corner with them. So really going to be all about managing those front tires and not over driving them too hard too early, like you said, as you end up being a sitting duck in the end.
So we're going to need our first representative time right now for RFLberg. Let's see what Ira can do as he crosses the line. Ryan Jerrick also crossing the line. He was very quick. He's done a 2-minute flat. Ira's done a 2-minute 2.3. We're starting to get a few more times in, but Ryan Jerrick, the early pace setter, was the fastest in the warm-up session, the practice session earlier. So he's going to be one to watch. Other drivers to watch, though, as I was about to say, there's another man that is very, very quick in these cars, and he's just gone to P1, and that's Jackson Suzlin-Harlow. He, alongside the number 20 car of Scotty McQueen, they were the two pace setters in the IMSA Michelin Pilot Series. I forgot what the series was called. The IMSA Michelin Pilot Series that we broadcast here on Simspeed TV late last year. So those two guys are going to be ones to watch. But Ryan Jerrick's definitely thrown in a curveball. Mitch Martin as well, looking very, very quick. But the front of the field very stacked. The rest of the field is going to be close too. And those guys have just been out-qualified by Dominic Ferraris in the Prolog React Esports car.
Yeah, that's a solid 6/10 worth of time there that Ferraris has put on everybody else. And looking at the difference in time between qualifying and practice, you can just see that there is quite a difference in tyre temp on the first lap alone. I mean, Ferraris did a 58.8 in practice, and he's only done a 59.1 in qualifying. So it just goes to show what sort of impact the cold tyres are having on these cars and what it's really making it interesting in terms of what we're seeing for pace.
We also saw the likes of, as Dean Ross goes into P3, saw the likes of Ryan Jerrick. He was in the mid 58s, and he's just done a 2-minute flat. So he's got about 1.5 seconds worth of tyre still to go as Reece Gardner crosses the line, and we'll do a 2-minute 7. That puts him in P10. So we've got 21 of our drivers who have put in a lap time. Jay Hansen in a real-life replica livery that we'd see on his car out on track for Eclipse Sim Sports. He crosses the line and goes up to P8. Very, very good lap for him, but he's just been moved down as Nathan Anderson pops into position 6. Ryan Jerrick is done. He's not going any further. Dom Ferraris is done. He's not going any further, but Jackson Suzlin-Harlow, last chance to improve his time, and he does. Goes P1.
Oh, that's not a big margin either. It's only just over a tenth between himself and Ferraris. So already showing that there's some very, very close times. And then Scotty McQueen even comes out of nowhere and puts it on pole.
Wow, good
by
lap.
Just under a tenth over Harlow.
Good lap from McQueen. So that's a bit of a mix-up there in the field. Brock Cat-Eye has just crossed the line. His second lap did improve him to 10th position. So a few drivers just coming in with this late surge right at the end. Jacob Knight's going to be one to watch. Car that he doesn't drive a huge amount. I haven't seen him do too many laps in this car, but very, very familiar name here on Simspeed TV. Jacob Knight for EXG Motorsports crosses the line, and his first lap is 2:01.4. So he's going to have enough time to do a secondary lap. He's going to have to work hard to get that lap in.
Yeah, he certainly is. There's not a heck of a lot of time left on the board. He's going to be matter of seconds left when he crosses the line this time by, but yeah, looks like most of the people have done at least one lap. Some have obviously done two, but you might possibly see some more people move up the order with these second laps.
Just saw Rob Carmichael move up into the top 10, P9 for JP Simshed as Reece Gardner comes across to finish his second lap. We know how excited he was when he heard that this series was being announced, and that's a big improvement, a 1.1 second improvement on the second lap for Reece Gardner. Goes P7. Very, very good lap.
Very, very good lap there by Reece, actually. He's definitely someone you really don't
Hinsey.
expect much pace from, but Hinsey even going straight to P3. That's an amazing lap.
Well done to Thomas Hinz. Of course, won the TCR race we did on Just Send It at Bathurst last year, as we see Tommy Sortner-Chun come across in 12th position. So still got a few drivers left to go. Darren Whittington's still in pit lane, so he will not get a representative time in. Thomas Cool back halfway around the circuit in 30th position. His last time was a 2:04.1. David Leslie as well, just ahead of him. For JP Simshed, he's in 31st position, so still some drivers to go. Jacob Knight will come across the line next to complete his second lap though. Actually, no, he won't. There'll be another driver just ahead of that. Is Lenny Naboli. Let's see what he can do. Current best lap, 2:01.1. And he's going to improve a 2:04, and that will put him up to 15th position. Good lap.
Yeah, really, really solid lap there from Lenny there. So looking like pretty much everybody's nearly finished their lap. Probably about 2 drivers left, I believe, on their last flying lap. David Leslie and Thomas Cool, like we mentioned earlier.
And we just saw Jacob Knight finish that lap and go into P13, so a very, very good job from him. We've got Thomas Cool on screen. We'll just go ahead to the 666 car of David Leslie for JP Simshed. He's just going to make it across the line. Current best is a 2:04.9. He's going to get a huge improvement on that. That's over 2 seconds improvement. Leslie will go up into 29th position. Cool crosses the line just behind. And he also finds about half a second. But it doesn't look like that lap counted, as everyone is done. All the times are over. And this is how we will start race number 1 in the Australian Turbo Touring Car Series here on Simspeed TV, presented by Simfinity and RMS. We've got Scotty McQueen and Jackson Suzlin Harlow on the first row. Thomas Hinz and Dominic Ferraris on row 2. Row 3 is Ryan Jerrick and Dean Ross. Row 4, Mitch Martin and Reece Gardner, with Simon Mazzomo and Nathan Anderson on row 5.
Row 6 will consist of Rob Carmichael and Tommy Sortner-Chun. Row 7, Jacob Knight and Jason J. Hansen, followed by Brock Cadday and Lenny Noble. And then rounding out the top 20 will be Ashley Norman, Jason Marowski, and Bailey Sweeney and Will Chen.
Then on row number 11, we've got Mitch Dean and Phil White, with Brant Tucker and Rob Harris on the 12th row. Great to see Brant back out on track after a long hiatus. Cameron Cousins in P number 25, row 13, with Bruce Ross alongside for Pulse Racing Team. We've got Ira Felberg in 27th, 28th to Cruz McVie. They've got David Leslie and Jack Johnson rounding out the top 30. The rest of the drivers are Thomas Cool on row 16 with Martin Houston alongside, and Darren Whittington also in 33rd position. Ryan Colstad, of course, as we said, looking after race control. Now, this is an interesting thing here. These guys in the official series, the official iRacing series, will be used to racing with a rolling start. We aren't running with a rolling start tonight. We're doing a standing start. This will be interesting to see how this all plays out for these drivers. It'll be an interesting challenge.
Yes, definitely going to be one of the key things is making sure you don't spin those wheels up too much off the line with these very cold tyres that they are when you're on the grid. So going to be interesting to see who actually does get the best starts and who ends up going backwards.
So we are ready to go. As we said, we've got 10 minutes of racing, around about 6 laps, and we are go. It's caught us a little bit off guard, but we are green, and a very, very good jump on the outside from Jackson Suzlin Harlow. He's got ahead of the car of Scotty McQueen already, but already 3 wide in the mid-pack. Looks like we're all fairly clean at the front, though. Looks like we're all fairly clean at the back as well. Good to see. I think we've got everyone through at the front of the field clean, but it's on for the lead straight away between McQueen and Jackson Suzlin Harlow. Jay Hansen losing a spot side by side with Nathan Anderson in the 30 car, and a good move there from Hansen.
Yeah, really good move to move it up the inside. Also, just want to mention that Hinsey actually lost quite a few positions out of that, so not the greatest start from him. But Ferraris has actually made quite a few gains so far and is looking to try and get inside that top three.
Yeah, Dominic Ferraris has just moved across to his new team at Prologue Reactors. Just in the background, a little bit of sideways action there. Simon Mazzomo almost got a little tap there from Dean Ross, the number 17 car, and just there side by side. And a little bit of nose to tail contact as well. It looks like we're going to get through clean. You could hear the contact, but it looks like we are fairly clean. Hins and Martin side by side as well.
Yeah, Hinsey and Martin going side by side down the short chute before they head into the next complex, and it's looking like Martin's probably going to have the move done. And it looks like he is, but Hinsey's going to try to stick it out, but he's going to have to slot in behind.
So the front three have jumped out a little bit of a gap. The car off in the background there's Rob Carmichael for JP Simshed. Looks like he's regathered it. Has lost a couple of spots. Have a look at this late dive there from Ashley Norman in the bright orange car. I'm going to say bright orange Audi, but they're all Audis out there. This is a tough little spot here, side by side, coming through the last couple of corners. Always difficult around this circuit, but it looks like we got through the first lap clean, and everyone is going set for Brock Caddy. He's driving himself into the pit, so I think we've got a jump start.
Yeah, I think he may have just mistimed the start. It was so slight. Actually, no, he didn't. Possibly not actually. Oh, no, he actually did jump the start, in fact. So, big disappointment there for Brock, who will really be gutted with himself to end up jumping that start. But nevertheless.
Well, McQueen!
And McQueen having a moment there, and he's had contact with Jerikin, and Jerikin's off.
Also seeing Rob Carmichael off the circuit as well. Just saw his name drop down the timing sheets, but that's very, very unfortunate for Ryan Jerrick. There was obviously more to that incident because we saw Scotty McQueen off the circuit very early. But that's unfortunate for Jerrick because he was doing a great job. Let's see what's happened here with McQueen to start with.
Yeah, I think he's possibly just coming a little bit too hot, possibly, and just misjudged how quick he was coming back on track. And unfortunately, Jerrick, with unsighted, just ended up being an innocent bystander in that all went up. Actually, did see in the background as well, shortly after that, that Jay Hansen was off the road as well. And I think there was contact with, yeah, it was actually side-by-side contact with Simon Zomo as well. So unfortunate for Jay Hansen is he was actually not doing too bad at that point in the race as well.
So we go back live. Thomas Hins and Dominic Ferraris now second and third with Mitch Martin just behind. And also have had another incident for Jay Hansen, so he's had a secondary spin. But Bailey Sweeney side by side here with Jacob Knight just ahead. You can see the car of Nathan Anderson in the 30, but Knight and Sweeney continue on, and you see Mazzomo in there too. He's been shuffled back after that little incident with the car of Jay Hansen. Good little move there from Rob Carmichael to get it up the inside, and he's going to get the spot there on Jacob Knight, who had a spot and ends up losing too.
Yeah, it's not quite gone well there for Jacob Knight, but I'm sure he'll be able to bounce back relatively well. As now up the inside of Mazzomo is going to be Nathan Anderson, and just behind is Bailey Sweeney as well. So we've got about 6 cars in this little group here battling for just inside the top 10.
Yeah, awesome little fight here. Mazzomo, Sweeney, Anderson, Carmichael, Knight, and
Sweeney's
Norman.
off.
Oh no, Sweeney, watch out where he joins. We've already seen an incident. Well done from everyone to avoid him. Bailey Sweeney will lose a couple of spots. Have a look at that between Anderson and Carmichael. A little bit of rubbing, that's what we want to see. Rubbing's racing. These cars do like a little bit of bumping. Not too much though, because a little bit too aggressive. They do cause big incidents, but 3 wide. That's what we want to see down the back straight. So we have seen a change of position. We're just going to cut away from this battle, unfortunately, because second and third have just changed position 3 times. Ferraris Hins. Oh no, it's just seen a car off the circuit there. That's Dean Ross. He's regathered it. Okay. And Mazzomo still leading that battle, but Ferraris, Hins, Martin, and Gardner are all shuffling positions as well. Hins with a little look. Amazing, we're already halfway through race 1.
Yeah, there's just been so much action going on everywhere, and everybody's fighting for position. It's really good to see, and how close it is as well. It's just that even that it's just all going off throughout the field.
It's getting a message from race control. Heard a little bit in the background, but decided against saying any further.
No need to redress. No racing room is given.
There we go. Car 17, no need to redress. That's Dean Ross. So Mazomo had a little bit of contact there with Rob Carmichael. That's cool to hear race control. We talk so much about race control, we never actually get to hear them. But you see on the side of the car, you can actually see the position number that these drivers started the lap. Mazomo now live in 13th position. He started the lap back in 9th, so he's lost 4 spots on this lap just from that little bit of contact and that shuffling back. So he's had a horrible lap. He'll be looking to move back up the field because he won't be happy with that, but he looks like he's got Mitch Dean and Ashley Norman, the chicken up racing cars, right up behind his rear wing, ready to pounce.
Yeah, it's one of these things about the TCR cars is that while contact's okay, it's like one little mistake and you end up losing a ton of positions in these cars. So it's really interesting to see there's a bit of contact between Rob Carmichael and Jacob Knight. Knight's going to hold the position, but Jacob Knight made an amazing move there earlier on when Mazomo ran wide through the final few corners, managing to get 3 cars in one. So really, really good move there. And this little pack's still trying to find their little own space on the racetrack.
Yeah, and at the front, side by side for 2nd and 3rd as well. So it's all going on in this race so far. So Suzlin, Harlow, Ferraris, Hinds, your front 3. Mitch Martin for Eclipse Sim Sports in 4th. Reece Gardner in 5th for Fusion. Scotty McQueen in 6th position after that issue. Was fighting for the lead. Dean Ross in 7th position. Tommy Santachan in 8th position. Then we've got Nathan Anderson off by himself now. Then Bailey Sweeney just ahead of that big pack of cars that we've been watching for the last little bit. Jacob Knight, Rob Carmichael, Mitch Dean, Simon Mazomo, and now joined as well Ashley Norman and Bruce Ross in there too. That next pack isn't far away from getting on the back as well.
Yeah, it's weird how there's sort of someone backing up the pack that there isn't at the same time, because the times are so close that it's just unbelievable how much time loss there is just from cars going side by side in that. So really, really good to see how close it is, and it's just unbelievable that we're nearly going to be having a 10-car trade on our hands here for pretty much the top 10 position.
We believe this will be the last lap. We've just seen Suzlin, Harlow, Ferraris, Hinds, Martin, Gardner and McQueen all set fastest laps of the race consecutively. So Suzlin, Harlow into the 59s, the low 59s, but Scotty McQueen a 58.5. That is the fastest lap we have seen so far today, including practice. Of course, we do have another race up straight after this as well, but Ferraris is really going to have to work hard to hold on to this position from Hinds.
Yeah, Hinsey looks like he's got a fairly solid run here down the straightaway, and I don't think you'll quite get him, although have told her what live before is since he's going to try it around the outside, managing to hold on to it, and he's probably going to get the job done. He will, and he'll have the advantage into the next corner. So Hinsey up into P2 for the time being.
Good move from Thomas Hinds, but it's might not be for too long. Yeah, good job. He's rounded that off very, very well. And now it's left Dominic Ferraris susceptible to Mitch Martin in that silver, yellow and white car for Eclipse Sim Sports, and through Mitch Martin goes. So 2 position loss there for Dom Ferraris on that lap. You can also see Scotty McQueen not far away from the back of Reece Gardner. This pack that we've been watching hasn't really changed a huge amount, except for Mitch Dean, who's worked his way through this pack in that chicken up racing car. He started in position 21 and he's already up into 12th. So race 2, he's going to be one to watch working his way through the field. That's a really, really good effort.
Yeah, really good effort to move it through the field. Somewhat reminiscent of what I tend to do on a few occasions. But yeah, really, really good race by him. But in the end, it will be Jackson Susan Harlow who will take the win here for race number 1, followed by Thomas Hinds, and then obviously Dominic Ferraris and Mitch Martin, and then Dominic Ferraris, Reece Gardner, Scotty McQueen, and then Dean Ross rounding out the top 7.
Yeah, good job from those guys. It's still on in this other pack, but it looks like they're all single file across the line, so not a huge amount of battling. Rob Carmichael tried to get back on Mitch Dean in the end there. Just seeing Cruz McVee and Lenny Nobitel also had their little battle as well. But, the rest of these guys all very, very much single file, except for this little pack here. Martin Houston lost a couple of spots on that last lap. Also seeing Jack Johnson as well there. He was side by side there with David Leslie, but that is the rest of the field done. It's a few drivers still coming around, but congratulations to Jackson, Suzlin Harlow. Victory in race 1 in the first of the races in the Australian Turbo Touring Car Championship. I almost forgot the name of the series, but what a race that was. Last couple of runners about to come across the line, but congratulations to Jackson Suzlin Harlow, the first winner in this series. Big congratulations to him. We'll go through our race results because that was a really, really cool race. Bring on race 2. As we said, it's not too far away, but Jackson Suzlin Harlow picks up the win. Only a 5-lap race in the end. We thought we were going to have 6, but the pace at the start of the race a little bit slower as the guys got their tyres up to temp. Thomas Hinds in P2, Mitch Martin P3. Then we've got Dominic Ferraris, Reese Gardner and Scotty McQueen 4th through to 6th. Then we've got Dean Ross, good job from him to finish in 7th. Tommy Sotner-Chun in 8th position. 9th position to Nathan Anderson. And he just held off Bailey Sweetie in the end for 10th position.
Then we go back to the rest of the top 20, which is Jacob Knight, Mitch Dean, who had a brilliant run actually getting from starting 21st and finishing 12th, so good drive from him. Rob Carmichael 13th, followed by Simon Mazzoma on 14th, 15th, 16th, Ashley Norman and Bruce Ross, followed by Cruz McVie, Lenny Noble, Grant Tucker, and rounding out the top 20 will be Will Chin.
And then we go over the page to Darren Whittington, who we did say started from the back of the field, started from pit lane from memory. Well, actually, sorry, didn't get a qualifying lap in, so started in 33rd position, finishes in 21st. Phil White in 22nd, with Ryan Jerrick, unfortunately, back in 23rd position. He'll be looking for redemption in race 2. Rob Harris in 24th, with Jay Hansen in 25th, also looking for redemption. So not a great end for the Eclipse Simsport drivers, looking for 3 top 10s. Finish with 1 on the podium and 2 outside the top 20. Martin Houston in 26th position, with Jack Johnson 27th. David Leslie 28th position. Then we've got Cameron Cousins and Ira Philberg rounding out the top 30. Then we've got Thomas Cool, Jason Morosky and Brock Cadeye. Those 3 all had to make a trip down pit lane. So we hopefully will have a few drivers coming in for a very, very quick chat. We'll go firstly to our second place finisher, because our first place finisher hasn't turned up yet, but congratulations Thomas Hinds. Very, very quick chat before we get into the next race, but that was a very, very heated battle you had there with Dom. Very, very good move around the outside.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Pretty chuffed. Yeah. I was obviously, as you could probably see, I was setting it up. I tried the first time on the outside, but he got off overlap. He kind of cut that off, so I thought I'll try and do a bit of a switch back the second time. That wasn't really working, but got thankfully good enough exit that I could just get the overlap enough to hold it around the outside there. And yeah, pretty chuffed. Not gonna lie, I'm pretty happy that I managed to get that done. Yeah, no, it was great fun. Awesome battle. And yeah, really looking forward to the second race now. As long as I can hopefully not stuff the start as badly. Yeah, we should be right.
You just brought up what I was about to mention. That start wasn't too great, but it was a good recovery from what should have been a much better result from where you started. Talk us through what happened at the start. Just something with the handbrake, couldn't quite get it away, or something more to it?
Basically, just I haven't started these things from a standing start probably since week 13 when they were released. Really, so I kind of couldn't really remember how to start them, so I just kind of guessed it, and yeah, just got a bit too much throttle. Got the wheel spin, of course. Once you wheel spin them, it's just they just don't go anywhere. So yeah, pretty much just like a practice and general plebery. It's about as much as there is to it. So.
Congratulations on P2 for race 1. Of course, race 2 not far away. Who would you like to thank before we let you go and get ready?
No worries, thanks for that. Just Ratu and Zuva, Kimmel, fencing that we have on the car there as well, and the driver's seat, and all the guys we have at the Henry James crew. Thanks for their sponsorship, and yeah, hopefully doing.
There's Thomas Hinds, P2 in that race
Design.
there. Well, and here we go, dragging him in mid-conversation. Jackson Suzlin Harlow, congratulations on the win. That was an interesting little battle that you were potentially going to have, but once you got in front with No McQueen behind you, it was fairly clean sailing.
Yeah, it was good fun. Good little 6 laps, but yeah, good fun. I like this car, and yeah, we'll see what happens in the next race.
How did you find getting away from the start on a standing start, considering we mentioned at the start that every start pretty much in these cars has been rolling that we've seen previously? How did you find it?
Yeah, I was honestly a little worried because the only time I drive these cars is like the last time I drove it was just Send It, obviously, but I haven't driven them before that for so long. And yeah, I just didn't know how to get off the line. So I was thinking I'll just put it in first and just slam it and we'll see how we end up.
Talk to us about the strategy for race 2. We've got a compulsory pit stop, if I can get my words out. What's the thinking around there? Where are you looking at making the tyre stop?
Uh, Not 100% sure. Don't know how the tires work. I don't know if I take 2 tires and it's going to stuff the car up massively like it does in other cars. So I'm thinking I might have to take 4, but then again, I'll probably lose too much time. So we'll have to play it by ear. I'll probably pit after everyone else and see what they do. And yeah, we'll just see what happens.
Well, congratulations on the win for race 1. We'll see how you go for race 2. Who would you like to thank before we let you go and get ready?
Just a massive thanks to Altus Esports, Motum, chefs, all them guys for all the help and support. And yeah, thank you.
So that is our race winner, Jackson Sutherland Harlow. We'll quickly do one more interview before we get into race 2. We'll quickly grab our 3rd place finisher, Mitch Martin. Congratulations on P3 in the end. They probably didn't think you were going to get it, considering who was ahead of you halfway through that race, but it just sort of fell into place, and then that move with Hins and Ferraris sort of opened the door for you to make a move around the outside.
Yeah, no, it was good. Actually, at the start of that last lap, I was kind of thinking, I could end up P2 here. But yeah, no, it was good to end up on the podium around the outside. I was pretty happy with that.
How did you find the car behaved in only a short race? Did you find that the car behaved as expected, or a little bit of tweaking needed before we get into race 2?
No, it was pretty. I was pretty happy with that. I thought I dropped off. I haven't really done much racing lately. Sort of just testing, practicing. So as soon as I got in behind the other guys, I struggled a bit hitting the brake markers. But yeah, once I sort of got in the rhythm, it was all good. So yeah, looking forward to the second race.
Now talk to us about the second race. What are you thinking? What are the thoughts around the 2 tyre stop, and how are you going to play it from the standing start through, and where you might make that pit stop? What are you thinking around that?
I think I'm just gonna go on the fly. It was a bit of a hectic race 1, so you don't sort of know where you're going to end up in traffic and stuff. So yeah, I'll just and obviously fuel's not really a factor. So yeah, I'll just play it, see how the race pays out.
Now, one last thing before we let you go. Your teammate there didn't have too much luck, that being Ryan Jerry. Well, also Jay didn't have too much luck either, but talk to us about how they're feeling now and what they're looking for redemption-wise in this next race.
Yeah, I didn't really see what happened there, but obviously it's a bit unlucky for Ryan to drop so far back. He's obviously puts a lot of effort in with the setups and stuff to prepare for these races. So yeah, hopefully he has a better second race.
Well, congratulations on that result. We better let you go and get ready for quali, because I think it's starting right about now. But who would you like to thank before we let you go?
Yeah, just like to thank Eclipse Simsports. Cheers, guys.
So there's our podium from race 1. Cam, what a race it was, and as we said, a longer race for race 2. It's going to be a very, very interesting battle from first all the way back through to 33rd. We were hoping to try and get a few more cars featured on screen, but there's just some crazy battles. 4-car battles, 5-car, 6, 8-car battles. It was incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. It was just absolute mayhem throughout the field, with cars pretty much sitting it on each other and side by side and rubbing panels and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what race 2 holds and whether it can match it or even better it.
Yeah, fingers crossed it will. We'll be getting pictures from qualifying through in just a moment's time. So qualifying has just started for the drivers, so they are just on their outlaps as we saw before. A lot of weaving going on, so it's not too exciting looking at these qualifying runs. Qualifying warm-up laps, because they're pretty anticlimactic, the way the drivers attack. In saying that, Ryan Jarrett was a lot more aggressive to be the first car out than what we saw with some of those other cars in that session before, because he seemed to find that pace very, very early and then didn't have anything left to go for a second run.
Yeah, might have been down to the way that he warmed his tires up. Maybe went a little bit too hard too early, sort of thing, and ended up overcooking them, or possibly didn't quite get enough heat into them for the second lap. Not entirely sure, but it is one of those things. It's sort of a black art to how you want to warm the tires up and when you want to get them to be optimum temperature and all that sort of thing. So yeah, it's really interesting to see the different sort of strategies and who when people are getting temp into them and when the PBs happening and all that sort of stuff. So we'll see what happens in this session and who can top this one.
Yep, we definitely can. Let's see, as we're just about to go to Mitch Dean, because I think he's going to be one to watch in this race. As we said, he was up 9 positions from where he started. If you do want to check out live timing as well, we do have it up on our website, simspeed.live. If you want to keep up to date with all of the live timing throughout this race, you can do so there. But Mitch Dean up the most places in that last race, in the top half of the field anyway. Of course, we did see Darren Whittington up a few spots as well, I think 13 positions from memory. But Mitch Dean, been a viewer request to get an onboard, and I think considering how good that lap was, or that race was for him, I think it deserves an onboard quality run. So let's see this lap, see how aggressive he goes. You can tell he was really working hard to get heat in the tyres, but turn 1 in this car is really, really tough because it's a corner you just want to get on the power early. These cars don't do on the power early. It just does not work that way.
Yeah, for sure. It's one of those cars where you have to be patient because you don't want to end up spinning those wheels up and just understeering wide, which he's actually just done, unfortunately. So a bit unfortunate there for Mitch, but nevertheless, it's one of those cars where you've kind of got to turn it in, wait for it to rotate, and then get back on the power. And you can't just plant it as well. You've kind of got to feed the power in so you don't end up causing too much load to the front tires and unbalancing the car. So yeah, it's a weird car to drive, but it's also really, really fun at the same time.
Yeah, exactly right. Of course, it's given a bit more love back to the other front-wheel drive cars on iRacing as well, being the Jetta and the Kia. The Kia being one of my favourite cars on iRacing. Apparently, I'm ill for thinking that, but I always found it quite fun. But Mitch Dean, this lap hasn't looked as clean as we would have liked. But as we said before, I don't think he has to worry about race pace, considering how many positions he moved in that race. He'll be looking to move up quite a few again. This sister car with Ashley Norman, as we're just seeing our first laps come in, and straight away Dean Ross is on it, because his pace we saw was good in that first race. He's looking very, very strong again. Jay Hansen just behind in second position. We're starting to get these times in, 5 times in so far. Still a few to go, but Ryan Jerrick once again smashed it out of the park.
Yeah, solid lap from Jerrick there for his first lap as well. So not doing too bad. We'll see what his second lap can be and what other drivers are going to possibly have up their sleeve on their first laps as well. Is currently just seeing that Mitch Dean is about to cross the line, and he does not actually set a valid lap. So he actually did get an off track in that lap, would it appear.
Yep, so we'll see what he can do on his second run. See what Ashley Norman does here on his first lap. Dominic Ferraris goes P1. They 59.2. That is our fastest time we've seen. Ashley Norman as well did not get a time in. Let's see what Scotty McQueen can do. What is his time? I reckon he's going to do a high 59. Yep, 59.3. So that'll put him P3. So once again, another very, very close quality between those 3 drivers. One driver that hasn't done a lap yet, Jackson Susan-Harlow, still got half a lap to go, so he's still got a bit of time left. Let's pick up who is about to come across the line next. Simon Mazzomo about to come across the line for Pitstye Motorsport, and he goes into position 10 for his lap, 2-minute 0.8. Also just had Jacob Knight cross the line, or about to have Jacob Knight cross the line.
Yeah, obviously Jacob didn't do too bad in that race, actually, so he doesn't actually set a valid lap time as well on his first lap, so a few drivers making mistakes in the second qualifying session, it would appear.
Bailey Sweeney, the teammate of Dominic Ferraris, so you would expect him to have a pretty good setup on that car. See what he can do. Of course, another driver that did move up spots in the P10, I believe, in the end, and almost got 9th at the line. That's a good lap from Bailey Sweeney. As Ryan Jerrick comes back, responds with a 59.0. Let's see what Ferraris can do. He's got a couple of corners left. Needs to find 0.2 of a second to take pole.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see whether Ferraris can manage to match or better Jarek's time, but Harlow's about to come across the line as well, and he's going to actually not get a lap in at all.
That's his first lap though, so he's got a second run. So Suzlin Harlow will have one more. Dominic Ferraris to complete his second lap. And improves. No, he doesn't even improve. So that is no improvement for Ferraris. What will McQueen do? Scotty McQueen, privateer from New Zealand. He's been bumped back down. He doesn't get anywhere near it. Thomas Hinz into P2. So Hinzy on his first lap as well. He's not going to run a second one. P2, let's see who is next across the line. The 23 car next. Thomas Cool, what's he done for his first lap time? 2:03 flat for Race on Oz. Puts him in 27th position. A little bit off the pace, but we saw in that first quali session he found a lot of time on that second lap. So I'll see what he can do. Jackson Suzlin Harlow halfway through the lap. Still got a bit to go. Need to keep one eye focused on this car. We go to the 31 car, Will Chen, a driver we haven't focused on too much yet. Driving for Vantage Racing. I must say that pink car does look pretty cool. Very, very cool colour scheme on Will's car. See what he can do here. Best lap at the moment is a 2:01.4. Finds a fair bit of improvement there. That is a good jump up into P14. Well done to Will.
Yeah, solid lap there from Will to put it straight into P4. And we've also just seen Simon Mazzomo put it into P8 as well. So really good lap there. And Mitch Martin also going into P5. So number of drivers starting to finish their second laps. And as we're seeing Jackson Suzlin Harlow coming through the final corner, this will be interesting to see where he puts this one.
Time to
That's
beat.
wide.
Oh, has he held on to it? Or will he start from the rear of the grid? Got to be aggressive through these cones. Will he get into the 58s? No. Second row for Jackson Suzlin Harlow. He'll start fourth in this race.
Jay, have a look at the time that between Hinz and Ferraris for second and third.
0.000 is the gap. I did not notice that. My other timing is saying that there's 1/10 of a second difference with a 9.201 versus a 9.202, but very, very close between them. We've got a couple of drivers still yet to complete their final laps. Markowski there on screen. He'll finish in 22nd position. Jack Johnson's just finished his time. Start from 28th. Thomas Cool about to come across and finish his second lap, and that will be the session done. And we said that he'd find a lot of improvement on that second lap. He has. Jumps up a spot. So Thomas Cool will start from 31st position. Everyone's done. The only driver that has not put in a qualifying run is Brock Cadeye. And he will start this race from 33rd position. But this is the grid for race number 2. And surprised to see Ryan Jerrick on pole position with Thomas Hinz in second. A 1/10 of a second separating him and Dominic Ferraris in third position. Fourth goes to Jackson Suzlin Harlow, who'll probably be disappointed to be starting that far back. Scotty McQueen in fifth. That's a surprise as well. Mitch Martin continuing on, sixth position for him. Reese Gardner in seventh. Bailey Sweeney in eighth. Tommy Santachun in ninth position. And then Simon Mazzomo in 10th.
Then we go back to Jay Hansen and Nathan Anderson in 11th and 12th, followed by Dean Ross and Jacob Knight. Lenny Nobley and Will Chen for 15th and 16th, 17th and 18th. Ashley Norman and Phil White and Rob Carmichael and Mitch Dean rounding out the top 20.
We got our last few drivers. I've clicked the wrong button. There we go. Darren Whittington. That's a better start for him. He'll start where he finished in race 1 from 21st position. They're much better than starting at the back of the field. Jason Markowski in 22nd. Rob Harris and Brant Tucker in 23rd and 24th, with Bruce Ross 25th. Ira Philberg in 26th position. Then we've got Cruz McVie, Jack Johnson, Martin Houston, and Cameron Cousins.
One mandatory stop in this race. In that mandatory stop, it is mandatory to take a minimum of 2 tyres. We will be watching and making sure.
Probably the biggest talking point, I think, in this race, Jay, is who's going to do what for tyres, because it's a total gamble as to whether you go 2 fronts, 2 sides, or 2 rears.
Yep.
On probably going to say that most will go two fronts.
Yeah, I think two fronts would be the smart thing. We'll go through the rest of the grid as we were just listening to Race Control with Tom School, David Leslie and Brock Caddy, the rest of the field. 33 cars, a fantastic turnout for round one of this series. Congratulations to everyone involved in getting this series up and running. It has been a lot of work behind the scenes, but we are ready to go for race one, and we cannot wait to get this underway. It is going to be a approximately 11 lap race. We'll see how we go, but green flag is about to fly. It is go for the main event right now. No, I've missed it. They're getting held a very long time. There we go. 20 minutes on the clock. It is underway, and another good jump from Jackson Susan Harlow. Very, very good jump.
How about Mitch Martin, though? 3 wide into turn 1. He's going to go up the middle of Thomas Hins and Reece Gardner. So great start from Mitch Martin there, and a couple of others managing to scrap for position as well. So, but for the most part, everybody seems to have made it through again.
No, we've had a big crash back in the field. We'll get a replay of that very, very soon. But at the front of the field, Ryan Jerrick pulling at a fairly decent gap. Dominic Ferraris in second. And Thomas Hins has bottled the start again, and he's going to have to work hard to come back through the field once more. As we see Simon Mazzomo get a little bit of a slowdown penalty. He's going to have to slow down a huge amount as there's wheel-to-wheel contact there between the 024 car. That is Jacob Knight and Nathan Anderson. They had some good battling in race one. They're going at it again in race two. It's continuing on.
Yeah, there's no love lost here, and everybody's getting their elbows out. 3 wide, as a matter of fact, right out on the outside as well. There's just everybody's trying to find a better racetrack, and it's almost impossible because everybody's so close together. So a couple of drivers really sending it hard. It's up the inside of different drivers. There's a car off in the background.
Yeah, it's Will Chen in that Vantage Racing car is losing a huge amount of positions. We're just hearing the race controller reviewing an incident there as Reece Gardner through on very, very good mate Thomas Hins. So change of position there. We're going to get a replay though of the start because that was a big wreck back at the start line. Brant Tucker, Phil White and Ira Philberg all involved. Let's see if we can pick up exactly what's happened here. Phil White in the white 77 car. Let's see what's happened here.
You can see they're all pretty much scrapping for position, nearly 3 and 4 wide. Oh, it's just caught a wheel, and that was it. Everybody else had really nowhere else to go, and it was just a bit of a mess.
Yeah, Jason Marskowski was the car that was making contact there. I don't think there was any intent there at all, but I'm sure race control are reviewing that. Sort of know where to go, and then side by side with Brant Tucker, he went around, and that was lap or race done essentially, as we're just seeing a car in the pit lane. Tommy Santa-Chun in the pit. So a few drivers have been caught out once again by pit lane penalties as Reece Gardner gives up a spot back to Thomas Hins. Could also be seeing some drivers that have got issues from lap one. Could be coming in now to get their penalty.
You have a drive-through penalty for causing
there we go.
collision at
Drive
the
through.
start of the race. I repeat, car 29, you have a drive-through.
Yes,
penalty
so
for
car
causing
29
please drive
with a drive-through penalty, unfortunately, for contact.
No surprise though, I don't think.
Yeah, no surprises there, but probably one of the things also is that could be a good advantage to get that pit stop for your tyres over and done with as well early on.
Yeah, those guys that may have a little bit of damage at the start there, get in, get your tyres done. Then you're getting them up to heat the whole way through. There's no restriction on when you can do it other than the last lap. So you must do it before the last lap. We just saw there Bailey Sweeney through. Scotty McQueen through as Dean Ross. Have a look at this late lunge from Dean Ross. Up the inside, he's got 2 positions in one. Bruce Ross and Rob Carmichael he goes through. So Dean Ross, who started this lap in 10th, he's dropped a couple of spots. How's that for getting moves done straight away to get back through? As Mitch Martin now trying to put pressure on Dom Ferraris with Jackson Susan Harlow through. This is some incredible fighting going on in this race already. They do realise that we've still got 15 odd minutes to go, yeah?
Yeah, we're only on lap 2 as well. But clearly not, because they're going this hard. So, yeah, really good fighting to see is currently it's about 4-car train at the moment for second position, and then if you add the other 3 on or 4 on behind, it's a little bit longer. So everybody a bit line astern, but really all trying to make the most of minimal mistakes so that you don't end up losing too many positions.
A little bit of contact between teammates there. Mitch Dean and Ashley Norman having a little bit of contact, and here we go. Pit lane is getting absolutely full Anderson, Mazzomo, Dean, Norman, Whittington all into the pits to get their stops done now. They want to get out of traffic as here comes a move. Thomas Hinz on Mitch Martin. Mitch Martin gets out of the throttle early, doesn't want to fight in this little battle at this stage of the race. So that's that battle done for now because Martin will give up the spot. He'll have Reece Gardner coming up behind. But some really good fights already. Rob Harris is one to watch as well as off the circuit. Who was that? Was that Dean Ross again having an issue?
Yeah, just running a bit deep there was Dean Ross. Luckily managed to pull it up as well on the grass, which can be very, very slippery at times in these TCR cars. But nevertheless, managed to pull it up. And Broccato really trying to look and make a move on the cars ahead of him so he can gain some more positions. Never that great of a run in that first race, so he'll be definitely trying to get some redemption in the second one.
Yeah, he was complaining about the handbrake and how he had it mapped for race 1, so he's now trying to get positions back. Now, for those wondering about how the point system works as well, there's round point winners based on combined results from race 1 and race 2. So race 1 and race 2 are both weighted evenly, which makes it a little bit more interesting as well. But as it stands right now, Jackson Suzlin-Harlow would win the round, but the rest of the field very, very close. I believe Thomas Hinz would be second, which is pretty good effort for Hinzy, considering he only decided to race this series around about 4 or 5 hours ago, which is a good effort.
Yeah, absolutely is a good effort considering all things considered, and especially with how he's been going in these cars recently as well. So really good to see Hinzy up there at the pointy end of the field, but looks like Dominic Ferraris has decided to pull off and get into some cleaning to make his pit stop. And don't think anyone else inside that top 10 has gone into pit lane. So everybody else continuing on while a few others starting to try and get some clean air.
Yep, and some of those guys that did come into the pits there having an interesting fight right now. Oh, there's almost contact as we're on board with Darren Whittington. That was really close there between Whittington and Nibali there. As you saw, Whittington had to actually move to the right a little bit to make sure he didn't make contacts. That was very, very close, but they continue on. These guys are out of position. Of course, they have pitted, made their pit stop. And they'll have to work their way forward throughout the rest of this race. But good to see battles the whole way through the field. Entries will reopen again next week for this series as well as we go back up the field. That's Reece Gardner in the black, white and purple car. Around the outside, Scotty McQueen in the all black with the green wheels. And McQueen is almost going to get the move done, but not quite. He's had to back out of it at the last minute. He's going to have to try and do it all over again. So Reece Gardner, as we know, can defend a position very, very well.
Yeah, he certainly can. He's definitely a smart cookie, is Reece, so he knows his way around a racetrack very, very well and knows exactly how to defend when he needs to. So really going to be interesting to see how this battle goes, although Scotty obviously with a decent amount of pace, so could be quite a bit of pressure Reece will be feeling at the moment, and Scotty will be trying to find a way past as quickly as he can.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to get through though, because he's going to be one of the hardest competitors he's got on track to get past as our first driver into the 1 minute 58s on that last lap by as well, Thomas Hinz. So he's again got those tyres up to temp a little bit earlier, but I wouldn't be surprised to see McQueen pit this lap, because if he's having trouble getting past Gardner, there's no point fighting with him. Might as well get in the pits and go and do something else. As in they all come. Here we go. So we've got Thomas Hinz in. Mitch Martin continues on. So the guys for Eclipse continue on. But there's Gardner McQueen. Also seeing Jacob Knight in the background in. Jay Hansen continuing on. Good to see him having a much better run this lap here. Or this race here, I should say. But Mitch Martin now holding that fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, Mitch doing a really, really good job and having a pretty another solid run. I believe he wouldn't be too far off actually being up there for points as well with the results he's been having. So we'll be interested to see what the point scores look like after this second race to see who is where after round one. But nevertheless, looking like everybody's pretty much still in pit lane, still in the same order as well. Not really too much of a change, I believe.
Yep, the guys that have pitted already are in this pack here. There's 2 cars ahead of them that have already pitted and completed their stops. So this is Carmichael with Ashley Norman just ahead in 20th position. Simon Mazzomo trying to get through. He's going to throw it up the inside into turn 1. Mitch Dean just behind as well. And they're going to have traffic when they come out as well, so that's going to make it really interesting with drivers trying to get their tyres up to temp. Their first flying laps after getting tyres are around about 2 seconds off what they were doing beforehand. So getting those tyres up to temp is not an easy task.
Yeah, it certainly is, and especially when you're trying to push it as hard as you possibly can to not lose too much time. So you can just see, actually, I do want to mention Scotty McQueen has actually lost out to Jacob Knight in the pits as well. So he's lost 2 positions out of that pit stop, but has managed to go straight on by straight after the pit stop. So another interesting thing is that Rescan has actually come out not too far behind Dominic Ferraris as well, which is quite interesting considering when Dom pitted.
Yeah, so and that's probably that slow lap that I just mentioned there, that Dom's had to do his first flying lap now, but his pace is a little bit off as we've got an incident back in the field. David Leslie around for JP Simshed, and I believe Rob Carmichael as well. So don't tell me teammates have come together, both of the JP's cars, because that would be catastrophic for the team if that has happened. You know that you never want to make contact with another car, but if it's with a teammate, that's always worse.
Yeah, there's usually 2 rules in racing. It's 1, don't crash the car. 2, don't crash your teammate. And if this has actually happened, it's not going to be too ideal. Actually, Carmichael has ended up moving over on him, and then, that is a massive impact.
Yep, so Carmichael, the innocent bystander in that, and David Leslie was hit by one of the Chicken Up racing cars. It may have been Mitch Dean, that car that was involved there, but yeah, the 99 car was the car that made contact. As we go back to the front, we'll go back to another replay because the battle for the lead is on. This is a replay right now. Jackson Suzlin-Harlow through on Ryan Jerrick. And it looks like move is now done. We'll stay on the replay, but Jackson Suzlin-Harlow now leads this race. I mean, looking at the lap times, we just saw he popped up with the fastest lap of the race. So no surprise to see that he's got the lead. We knew it was going to be a matter of time, but congratulations to Suzlin-Harlow. Now at the moment, 2 from 2, but not over in this race. Still a lot of racing to go. We're going to go back to that battle pack we were in before because Dean Ross in the wars again, this time with Mitch Dean. And here comes Brock Cadeye side by side as well with Mitch Dean. Rob Harris not far away as well in the KRF car. He's going to come out on top in this little fight because this has the feeling that it's going to be a really messy little pack. Of course, these guys have pitted top 7 in the field yet to make their stops. Everyone else has. It looks like they're going to settle themselves in a single file for a little moment while they all catch their breath.
Yeah, I'd say probably Cade's got quite a bit of pace over Dean Ross though, which is surprising. So might be able to get a position at some point, but he's coming under pressure after a little bit of a mistake there in the corner before from Mitch Dean, but he'll probably hold on to the position for the time being.
Ryan Jerrick is in the pits, Martin Houston in as well, so that leaves 5 cars left to make their stop in this race. We've got a couple of retirements as well. Looks like Rob Carmichael is out. Probably too much damage. No real surprise considering how big that hit was to see that he may be out with too much damage. And it looks like Simon Mazzomo as well, who we did see in the wars early on as well. So he is also out. I must say, good job from Darren Whittington as well. He's up positions again. He would have to be our biggest mover over the 2 races combined, you would think. We will work that out and put it on our Facebook page during the week, but Darren Whittington at the moment is doing a fantastic job.
Yeah, he really is. He's done an absolutely awesome job so far to gain so many positions in both races. So see if he can gain any more in the rest of this race. There's only a handful of minutes to go, but there's still a few cars to make a pit stop. So we'll see where he comes out in the end. And I imagine it'll probably be not too far off a top 10 possibly.
Yeah, possibly get up into the top 10. I mean, he may have to make some moves to get there, but I mean, his pace is looking pretty good. He's around about the same pace as the 10th and 11th place cars. As we just watched Will Chen. It's just fighting here with Bruce Ross and Martin Houston just ahead with new tyres. This is going to be a really interesting fight here between these two guys because this is new versus old tyres. I think we're going to see the difference there. Houston with a really, really late move to try and cover off, but understeer central on cold tyres will not work. It's going to lose a spot as we see Mitch Dean and Brock Cat-Eye go at it as well. Leaders in, Bailey Sweeney, the only car left to pit. How's this between these guys? Brock Cat-Eye, Mitch Dean, and Rob Harris all going at it in this little fight.
Yeah, Cat-Eye coming under a lot of pressure now from Mitch Dean. Mitch Dean looking up the inside. We're going to slot in behind, just pulling a bit of a dummy move there on Cat-Eye to try and fill the mirrors, but slots in behind for the time being. Cat-Eye doing really, really well, actually, to hold on to the position that he's in at the moment against these two, as he's under a lot of pressure in these last few laps.
Remember, he didn't get a lap time in, and he's already passed half the field. So, it started where he was basically at the end of the first race. As out of the pits comes Jackson Suzlin Harlow. He's going to maintain his effective lead over Ryan Jerrick, but it is going to be a little bit closer than it was. We were looking at around about a second when Jerrick actually came into the pits. He's going to have that fresher tyre advantage, or sorry, more warm tyre advantage. What will he close it down to? Down the back straight, you would think. It's going to get within a second. When you're within a second, you've got draft. When you're in the draft, you're well and truly in with a shot.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be interesting to see what happens here as we're on board with Dominic Ferraris in P number 6. He's going to be on the outside for the next corner, but we've seen it moves around the outside there plenty of times, so we'll see if he can manage to get it done. It's looking like he might be able to hold it. Not quite. Oh, he's actually got overlap in the end,
well
so
done.
he's managed to hold on to it for the time being. He's going to get up the inside, so position secured there for Dominic Ferraris.
And well done for Dom back into the top 5. And we have put the commentator's curse on Darren Whittington because he's just lost a spot. So we'll take the blame for that one. Commentator's curse works in sim racing for those that haven't watched before. We go back to this battle. Actually, we're going to go to another battle because so much going on out on track. Actually, we're going to go to the front of the field. Effective lead is on. Bailey Sweeney is the leader. But this is effectively first, second, and third, if I could get my words out. Jackson Suzlin Harlow leading this train of cars. Remember, he only just pitted. Thomas Hinz is in the best spot here because he is pitted 3 laps earlier.
Jerk around the outside.
Wow. So Thomas Hinz, what a move. If he can steal his spot, that puts him in for the win for the round.
And he's just made the move stick, so really, really good driving there by Hinsey, but looking like Jerrick might be able to come back with this one, possibly not, but Hinsey really all over the back end of Harlow here. He's going to try and go around the outside as Harlow is having to defend to try and hold on to this effective race lead.
This is, as you said, the effective race lead. Jackson Suzlin Harlow, Thomas Hinz, Ryan Jerrick, and now Dominic Ferraris is in there too. He isn't far behind these guys. Mitch Martin's dropped a little bit. Of course, he's just come out of the pits as well, but Reese Gardner and Scotty McQueen side by side as well. McQueen, if you can hold it around the outside here. Oh no, there's contact between McQueen and Gardner.
Oh, big drift from Reese.
He's done a good job to hold on. I'm going to go back to the front though. We'd like to see the recovery there, but Thomas Hinz, if he can pull a move around the outside here, that would be a phenomenal move. He might have it done. If he can just hold on around the outside here, it will be for the effective race lead. And Thomas Hinz has got the move done on Jackson Suzlin Harlow. If he can hold on to his contact.
Oh, he's held on to it though, but Jerrick's going to have the outside run with obviously not any damage, and he's probably going to have the momentum as well. And the inside for the next corner, they're going to be side by side. Hinsey's not going to let this one go easy, that's for sure.
No, we know that Hinsey's a fighter.
White flag this time by.
Yep, it will be, because Bailey Sweeney will receive the white flag. There'll be about a half a minute left on the clock. And he's in the lane now, so he should receive the white flag. So all these drivers will receive the white flag as well. Which means we're only going to have a 10-lap race. 11-lap race, I should say. Wow, what a race this has been so far. Hinz still trying to get the position. Jerrick might be able to hold it around the outside, but Hinz has got the move done. Oh no, Jerrick again with Suzlin Harlow this time. Oh no, Ryan Jerrick has just had no good luck in this race. It's been all bad, but white flag in the air. This is the final lap of the race. Ryan Jerrick recovers. He's just in that little battle pack with Reese Gardner, Scotty McQueen. Bailey Sweeney dropping down the timing sheet, but Thomas Hinz now leads this race. What a race this has been so far. Jackson Suzlin Harlow back in 4th.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what's happened there. He had some pretty good pace earlier on, and then that pit stop came around, and he's just been sort of nowhere really, which has been really weird to see. But nevertheless, Dominic Ferraris has moved up in a second, and now Mitch Martin's going to have his hands full with Harlow, who's probably not going to give it up easy and is going to try and make his way up as quickly as he possibly can.
Go back to that secondary pack because Nathan Anderson has already got through Gardner. He's about to get Jarek. He's going to try and tag onto the back of Scotty McQueen, as we just see in the foreground there. You can see right up the front there, Mitch Martin's lost a spot to Jackson Suzlin Harlow, but will Anderson hold on for Pulse Racing Team? Gets onto that position from Gardner. He completes that move, but couldn't quite get past Ryan Jarek despite the run. I'll tell you what, he's going to throw it up the inside, and this will be very ambitious if he can do it. Clock is now officially at 0, and here's the last lap. Around goes Anderson. No, he holds on. And Jay Hanson's going to take advantage of this. A little bit of a bump to open the door. What a race this has been. What a battle we've got going on the whole way through the field.
Yeah, it's been absolutely mental, the amount of battling going on, and especially this little battle here for just inside the top 10. It's all going off.
So Thomas Hinds leading this race. A couple of corners to go. Suzlin Harlow will want another spot. But will he be able to get one? Checkered flag will fly this time by. And Thomas Hinds will pick up the win, and that should be a round win for the Ratu racing car. Congratulations, Thomas Hinds. Dominic Ferraris in second. Mitch Martin and Jackson Suzlin Harlow fourth and third. Suzlin Harlow does get fourth. McQueen gets up into fifth position. What a job from him. And the rest of the field still coming across the line. A little bit of a gap back to Dean Ross. The top 10 separated by 10 seconds in that race. Across comes Dean Ross. Darren Whittington finishes in 12th position in the end. Good job from him. Bailey Sweeney with that pit stop dropped all the way back into 22nd, and he could lose another one in the end here too. So, wow, what a race that was. That was phenomenal. Here comes now Cruz McVee and Bailey Sweeney. So Sweeney does finish in 22nd. Thomas Cool, Phil White, Santa Chun, Jack Johnson, and the rest of the field. After that first lap incident as well, Ira Philberg got back out on circuit too, and he's finished the race in 31st position. But what a phenomenal night of racing.
Fantastic driving, guys.
Cannot wait for round 2. In a couple of, or next week, we go to Okayama. How good is Okayama going to be for this car if we have cold conditions, which are possible? That means that we're going to have some very, very close racing at the next race at Okayama.
Yeah, absolutely. It's round 1's turned it on quite well, so very much looking forward to round 2 and seeing what Okayama can put on. It's a little bit of a different track, obviously, not as flat, a little bit more characteristic, so we'll see what it brings. But yeah, really going to be an interesting track to see what these TCR cars can do.
The results on screen. Thomas Hinds picks up the win, picks up the round as well, with almost perfect score, just the second in that first race, but the win in race 2. So we'll pick up the round win. Dominic Ferraris in second position. Jackson Suzlin Harlow in third, with fourth going to Mitch Martin. Scotty McQueen in fifth. Ryan Jarek will be very, very disappointed with sixth position in the end. Reese Gardner in seventh. Did well to hold on with that potential damage as well with that contact with McQueen. With Nathan Anderson in eighth position. Jay Hansen, much better result in ninth. Eclipse Simsports also 3 cars in the top 10. Well done, guys. And Jacob Knight finishing in 10th.
And then we go back to Dean Ross and Darren Whittington in 11th and 12th. Another solid drive through the field for Darren as well, from 21st to 12th. Followed up by Ashley Norman and Brock Cadday in 13th, 14th. Rob Harris and Mitch Dean in 15th and 16th. Followed by Bruce Ross, Will Chen, Martin Houston. And running out the top 20 is Lenny Nobili.
Yep, then we got Cruz McVee in 21st, with Bailey Sweeney in 22nd after pitting on the last lap. Thomas Gould in 23rd, with Phil White in 24th position. Somi Chun in 25th. Jason Makovsky in 26th position. Jack Johnson in 27th. Brant Tucker finishes in 28th on the lead lap. Last car on the lead lap is David Leslie. Limped at home in the end with that huge damage after that huge incident late in the race. Then we got Cameron Cousins 1 lap down. Ira Philberg also finishing as well 4 laps down after that huge wreck on lap 1. Rob Carmichael did not finish as well as Simon Mazzoma, unfortunately, but what a night of racing. We get some driver thoughts right now, because here comes our race winner and round winner. Congratulations, Thomas Hinds. Well done on a great result. Wasn't smooth sailing, but that last lap battle the second last lap battle and the move to get the lead of the race was very intense. Holding it around the outside seems to work quite well.
Yeah, I know it's something I've sort of learnt to do. Because a lot of people obviously do the standard kind of defend the inside, so I've tried to make it a thing where I just go around the outside instead, because a lot of people don't seem to be prepared for that. So yeah, I've tried to sort of get practice at it if I can. It seems to be working. Yeah. Again, fluff the start. I still can't get these things as bad. It wasn't as bad, but still wasn't good. So again, on the back foot. But yeah, no, just just sort of saw Dom peel off in front of me and thought, oh, I might follow him off and see how that goes. And yeah, it was worked out well, because obviously at the end they came in and didn't have much warmth in their tyres to fight with. And yeah, it got a bit interesting at the end, but managed to make it work. So yeah, I don't really know. For once, I'm actually not sure what to say really, because I didn't think I'd
You're
put it
never
right.
lost for words. That's the first thing I'm surprised at. But talk to us about the strategy around the pit stop. Was your thinking to try and make sure you had as much heat in the tyres later on in the race, rather than trying to defend with colder tyres?
Yeah, I think I was sort of discussing with Dom just then. Yeah, I sort of saw him go off, and I thought actually that's probably a good idea. I was thinking, around halfway at the latest is probably the way to go, just so that obviously, yeah, those last couple laps you at least have some sort of heat in them to defend with. So yeah, that was pretty much the strategy. Yeah, just get in, pretty early, just so get the cooling phase out of the way earlier, so that those last few laps have actually got something to fight with. So yeah, that was pretty much the strategy. So yeah, it worked out well, thankfully. But yeah.
Oh, we go on to Okayama next week, a track that we're very familiar with, but a track that you probably wouldn't expect to see some of this sort of racing at. What are your thoughts around Okayama and how these cars will handle that race?
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Yeah, I'm not really sure actually. There will be. Oh yeah, the first sector is going to be pretty painful on cold tires, but yeah, should produce some good racing. It's another track that suits low-powered cars well and tends to produce good battling. Like whenever the Skippies or anything like that, or the Mazdas are there, it's always great fun. So should suit them well. Hopefully, my work schedule works out that I can do it now that I'm leading the championship. I hope I can. But yeah, we'll see. Hopefully I'll be able to make it, but obviously my work schedule is always all over the joints, so we'll see. But yeah, if I can make it, I'll definitely be there, and hopefully the pace will stay. Fingers crossed.
Oh, congratulations, mate. Well done on race 2 win, but more importantly, I think round win and championship leader going into round 2. Thomas Hinds, who would you like to thank, mate?
Thank you very much, Jay. Yeah, just I guess save again. Zuva, Ratu, Kimmel, fencing, the driver's seat, all the guys we had on all the sponsors we have on the car there. Big thanks to them, and again the Henry James guys and the SRC guys. I should thank them too, because I'm kind of in both camps in a way. Thanks to them both for just putting up with me, really. Yeah, just huge thanks for their support, and thanks to you guys for broadcasting as always, and huge thanks as well to Era for putting the league on. Like, this has the potential to be a fantastic league, so hopefully this can keep going, because yeah, racing's been awesome already. I'm sure it'll only get better as we go on.
Yeah, 100% agree on that as well. So congratulations on a great result, mate. Thomas Hinds there. We'll go next to, hopefully he's not saying too much in the background, Dom Ferraris. Congratulations on P2. Probably wasn't how you were going to expect to get P2, but I'm sure you'll take the result, considering when you look at the names behind you as well.
Yeah, definitely, Jay. It was a good race. I think I just decided to take myself out of the action and then see what I could do from there, and it sort of paid dividends in the last few laps.
Yeah, we just talked to Hinsey about that, the strategy around pitting. You're thinking now that you and Hinsey have both done that early stop, that may be the strategy for a lot more guys going forward, pitting early and making sure you've got those hot tyres for the end of the race.
Yeah, definitely. And in fact, I think I didn't do it far enough. The best strategy, and I sort of realized that 2 laps in, would be to box on the first lap, because you just want to reduce the amount of laps where you're warming up tires, and it's really demotivating on that outlap, losing seconds to the guys that are out there. Yeah, it does seem to be the best strategy.
We go on to Okayama next round. We were just saying to Hinsey as well. What are your thoughts around Okayama and how you are thinking you'll attack the race when we go there?
Done a few races at Okayama. I like it as a track. Never driven the TCR around there, but I assume it's going to be pretty similar to this. Door to door, sorry, bumper to bumper racing. very
Well,
close,
door
hard
to
to
door as
get away
well.
from each other. And door to door, yeah,
Yeah.
we experienced a bit of that today.
It sure did. Well, congratulations on a great result, mate. We hope you continue on with the good form. Who would you like to thank?
Yeah, I'd just like to thank all my new teammates over at Prologue React Esports and our main partners, Cube Controls and Alexander Luritz in coaching. And thanks to you guys for broadcast.
That is our P2 finisher. And we'll go lastly to position number 3, Jackson Susan Harlow. Not the way you wanted to finish that race, mate, but talk us through the race. But firstly, talk us through the start. How good was that start that you got there?
Yeah, start was all right. My start's actually been quite good lately. They're usually quite bad. So, yeah, I was pretty happy with that. The race was quite fun at the start. I was just trying to catch up to Ryan. He was really quick, but I think he struggled a little bit at the end of that. And I was thinking I'll pit late because I might get a good gain while they're trying to warm up their tires. And yeah, I got that little gain, come out 2.5 seconds in front, but yeah, the pitting with 2 laps to go was definitely not the strategy to go. So I shot myself in the foot. So quite mad at myself about that, but it is what it is.
Were you surprised at how much the guys were gaining on you while you were trying to get heat into those tyres and how hard it was for you to defend that spot?
Yeah, I was really surprised. I thought, yeah, maybe like 2/10 a lap or something. But as soon as I come out of the pits, I come out and just had that much understeer. I was trying to get warm in them down the straight, trying to do everything I could. And yeah, I had Ryan behind me. So I got to give it to him. I put up the biggest fight of my life I could. I was trying as hard as I could, blocking, doing everything I could. But yeah, yeah, didn't have enough for him in the end. It felt like on that last lap, the tires come back. I was able to drive around the outside, and it felt like it come up to temp. But yeah, too late. If they come up a lap earlier, that would have been nice. But yeah, good race anyway.
Were you surprised at how many moves were able to be done around the outside as well? We saw a lot of moves all the way through the field with passes around the outside or holding around the outside to get the over-unders working.
Yeah, well, just most of the people they try and go in too deep when someone's on the outside of them, and they either wash out wide or just have to lock all the brakes so it's easy for people to come out. But the best way to do it is just check up, release the brake, and just cruise through the corner, which I usually do. But yeah, on those cold tires, Hinsey got around the outside of me, and yeah, the only way was to try and door him, and I couldn't really do that because these cars, you can give a bit of a door, which I did. I tried giving a little bit of a door, but I couldn't do any more. I would have spun him. So I gave it everything I had. I'm really angry at myself for pitting too late, but I'll learn for next time and yeah, not make that mistake again.
We're going to Okayama next week with you looking like you'll be P2 in the championship. You're looking forward to going to Japan and trying to get a bit of redemption, maybe get the 2 race wins rather than one either side of or either end of the podium.
Yeah, I'll probably do Okayama. I forgot tonight was actually on, and Bo reminded me. I think it was last night or midday today or somebody said that he signed up. So I was like, I'll come in and do it for a bit of fun. And yeah, I love driving the TCR. It's always a fun car to drive. I haven't really been doing any official races in it because they never really go official. So this is a good little series to come and have some fun. So definitely recommend it to anyone who's looking for a fun series. Just come and have a good race and see where you can end up.
Yeah, it's been very, very clean as well. Only 1 penalty handed out for the entire night of racing, which is always good to see. Jackson, who would you like to thank? I know you did it before. We better let you do it again. If I could speak English, who would you like to thank, mate?
Just everyone on the car, all the Altus boys for bringing me in the team. Like I can't recommend them high enough. They're awesome. All the Altus guys in there make me feel so welcome, and yeah, it's been awesome working with everyone, and yeah, can't wait for this year and see what other races we can win.
Congratulations. Good luck for the weekend as well for the Daytona 24. I know Altus had the 2 victories in the top race last year, so we'll be looking for redemption in that again. Good luck for the weekend and good luck for next week as well.
Yeah, thank you. We'll give it a good crack and try and get another win.
Cam, what a night of racing we've had. Round 1's done. Next week, Okayama. I cannot wait. Is it Wednesday already again? Because that was some really, really good fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I saw a few drivers in the chat going, let's do round 1 now, round 2 now. So, yeah, it'll be really, really cool to see what happens next week and can't wait for it because it's just going to be just as good, if not better.
Yep, it will be as well. And I'll be able to sit back and watch a little bit more because Ryan Jones will be back in the booth with you next week, which I'll be looking forward to. But big thanks to the guys behind the scenes as well. Big thanks to Ira for his hard work with this series. He's worked so hard to get this off the ground. And been a lot of messaging between he and I over the past few months to get this up and running. So big congratulations to him. Big thanks to Ryan from RMS and also from Simfinity as well for all the work behind the scenes, race control and supporting the series as well. It's a lot to start a brand new series from scratch with no idea how successful it's going to be. So big congratulations to Ira for his hard work. Big thanks to everyone as well for their support in watching the stream, sharing the stream and liking the Facebook page. Make sure you do subscribe to our channel, Simspeed TV on YouTube, also Simspeed Esports on Twitch and Simspeed TV on Facebook. Also Simspeed TV on Instagram as well. We do post on there quite regularly as well. But big thanks to you, Cam, for your hard work tonight. It's been good fun. Big thanks to everyone for watching. We will be back tomorrow night with the Epiroc Sprint Series Australia, and then on Friday night for another new series here on Simspeed TV, the Oz NZ Xfinity Challenge. Looking forward to that, having some NASCAR racing back. That's Friday night, but until next week from Okayama, we thank you very, very much for tuning in, and we will see you then for some more awesome touring car racing.
This is fantastic. This is GT racing right now. He's got traction. He's got everything outside of both of them. Maloney. Oh, he's taking Anderson. Anderson's up to him. Oh my God. Oh, big crash. Oh my goodness. Half the field's going to get rolled.
Second very close. These guys are want to make their way through the field very quickly. Oh, there we go. Oh no. That's massive. This is it. This is over. I can't believe this. Oh my God.
God, what?